We know that the Yankees are interested in Blake Snell, but if you've been keeping track of all the rumors, it just doesn't seem as if the Yankees are going to get him. And I don't want to talk about Blake Snell. I want to talk about two free agents the Yankees could get. Some guys who are still out there and would make a lot of sense for the Yankees to bring in as a kind of sneaky, under the radar move. So, first, let's just evaluate the Yankees' depth. Where do they need to add a player? And it's really the infield if we're talking about on the offense side. The infield is pretty good when you talk about the frontline players. Rizzo, Torres, LeMahieu, Volpe. But then after those guys, the backup player is Oswald Peraza. And this is a little bit of an odd spot for the Yankees because Peraza, it doesn't make sense to play him on the bench because he's not going to get at-bats, he's not going to practice, he's not going to get as much out of just being a bench player as he would playing at AAA. And it also just doesn't seem as if the Yankees are going to trade him. So it feels like Peraza is the guy to go to if an injury happens. Then yeah, you put Peraza in there and he's playing every day. But you're wasting him if he's sitting on the bench. So the Yankees really need an infielder who can be that bench guy. You want a veteran who knows, hey, your role is not to play every single day, but to be on the bench, and if someone's going through something, if they need a day or two off, then you're the guy who we're going to play. And you want a guy who you're just comfortable with. Someone who is not going to cause a glaring hole in your lineup, and someone who's just a good overall ball player, a trusted veteran. And I have two of those guys right here. First, Donovan Solano. Now, Solano is a 36-year-old infielder, so he's up there in age, but he has a lot of experience in the majors. And he actually played with the Yankees in 2016, had 9 games with them, and had a full season in the minors in 2017 with the Yankees. So he has a little bit of history with the organization. He's a right-handed hitting second baseman / first baseman / third baseman. Really just plays all around the infield. And the thing about Solano is you know what you're going to get. You're going to get a pretty good average with a pretty good on-base percentage and absolutely no power. Last year, in 134 games, he hit .282, .369 on base, .391 slugging for an OPS of .760. The last 3 years, he's hit above .280, and he's had an OPS in the 700s. So you know what you're going to get. You're going to get a guy who can hit for average, won't give you much power, and will just get on base. Not a bad player to get. The main issue with Solano, though, is he's not a great defender, doesn't have a good arm, doesn't have a lot of range. So while he can play first, second, and third, you don't get the defensive value there. So, not ideal. But if you're just looking for a guy who can be a fill-in, maybe someone off the bench if you need, he can be that type of player who will go up there, get the hits, get on base. He won't be a butcher in the field, but he's not going to be great. He's an interesting option for the Yankees. And last year, he was signed to a 1-year deal worth $2 million by the Twins. So if the Yankees sign him for a deal worth $4 or $5 million, which is what Kike Hernandez got, who we know the Yankees were interested in, another versatile infielder, then it could make a lot of sense. The next guy is Elvis Andrus. Now, Andrus is a little bit younger. He's going to be 35 next year, and he also has played in the majors forever. Started in 2009 when he was 20 years old, so a ton of big league experience. He's been around the game. And with Andrus, you're getting a worse bat, but a more confident glove. Last year, he hit .251 with a .304 on base percentage, .358 slugging for an OPS of .662. The last 3 years, he's had a batting average of around .240 every single season to .250, gotten on base at around 300, and slugged around 360. He's not going to be a great hitter, but the thing about him is he's a good defender. This last year was his first year not being a primary shortstop, and he's just a really good defender. He was a primary shortstop for so many years. He plays short above an above average rate. He plays third. He plays second. He can be a guy who you feel comfortable in the field. Someone who can be a late inning defensive replacement if you need him to be. And while that bat isn't going to be as good as Solano, it's not going to be terrible. So he's an option if you want more of a glove. So you can get the offense in Solano or the defense in Andrus. Also, last year had a contract worth $3 million, so he's probably going to get that same $4 to $5 million contract range. It makes a lot of sense for the Yankees there. You need an infielder who can just be a bench guy. He's not going to be starting every single day, but he's on the bench if you need him to play a game, and you can trust him. You have faith in this guy. He's a good clubhouse guy. Andrus or Solano would be that type of player. Not going to cost a ton. I think it makes a bunch of sense for the Yankees to get one of those two. So, if I'm missing any players who make sense for the Yankees to sign, put their names in the comments below, and tell me, who would you rather have as the Yankees bench guy? Elvis Andrus or Donovan Solano?